Hello guys, it's Ty aka the Flip Man. How to find cash buyers. Everybody's so concerned about that. I just did a video on if I can't find a buyer. So obviously the next phase of this is how to find how to find cash buyers. Um, Done tons of videos on these, but I try to refresh things. But how to find cash buyers. Um, Wow. There are a number of ways, obviously, to do that. And a lot of people will concern themselves when they get into the business on that's the first thing I need to do, and then go out and find what they want. Well, in reality, you're going to always be doing that, but I can tell you from experience, and both work. Don't get me wrong, both ways work. But I can tell you from experience. And if you watched any number of my videos, you'll hear me pound this and pound this. But it's not hard to give away money. And what I mean by that, just comparing the two of sellers and buyers, finding a deal is difficult. Finding a deal is difficult. I'm not one to sugarcoat, so that's why I spend more time on teaching you things on how to find great deals and understanding what is a deal, which is just as important. You can find houses that people are willing to sell all day, every day. I don't care where you are, but is it a deal? And what's a deal for a wholesaler is that it has to be cheap enough where it's a no-brainer for your cash buyer, even though you still have several $1,000s built in there for yourself. That's what makes a deal for a wholesaler. There's ways to go about that, but for the sake of this video, we're talking about cash buyers and how to locate those. Now, I teach my students on that basically you allow your deals to create your buyers list. So you start from zero with buyers. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the things um, to show you how to use your deals to build your buyers list. And what I mean by that, you have just a smoking deal, which we all want that, every time we put a property on the contract. But you can only sell that to one person, right? And so with that being said, if you're advertising the property effectively, even if you have a buyer's list, even if you don't, I think you should always still advertise your properties. Well, it depends, depending on what type of seller you're dealing with. But for the most part, you always want to advertise your actual property. So, let me move this down here. You see all this on the screen or whatever. I just want to make sure you see all that. But anyway, so you can only sell it to one person. So to explain that, you may have 20 people call you on a property. And a lot of you've heard me say this because it's the same stuff, you know what I'm saying? But again, this is more for people that are not aware of this this information. There's some that may be new to even people that have talked to me and followed me for a while. But you can only sell to one person, but 20 people call, so those other 19 people, you want to collect their information for future deals. And what I mean by that, their information is obviously their contact information, their name, what areas they buy in, what price range, the minimum number of beds and bath, how many do they buy per month or per year. All of that builds a cash buyers list, and how you keep that information is up to you. Some people use CRMs and all this stuff. I'm just, I'm so unorganized, but I guess it's organized in my mind. My phone is like everything to me. My iPhone is like everything to me because I keep everything either as far as a contact and or in my notes. And it just works great for me. That may not work for you, but that works great for me because I always have it with me. I may not always be looking at my phone, but when I need to go back to it to get information, I can do that. And so when I upgrade my phone, which is probably only every 3 or 4 years, then, that information just transfers over, just with, all the apps and things that are set up. Again, some people say, build your buyers list and then go look at it. Let me tell you why I go against that. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, both work. But the reason that, let me pull myself back up here. The reason that well, I have to get a scenario until somebody tells me that it doesn't make sense. I'll continue to use it. But this is not a trick question. You have a job. I have a job. All right. Your job is we're going to be on two street corners. You're going to be across the street. I'm on the other side of the street. All right. Your job is you have a empty sack and you have to ask enough people, whether they're driving by or walking down the street, to give you enough money to, you could be in New York City where there are thousands of people passing by on a daily basis, right? On the busy streets there that people, pedestrians just walk or whatever. And you got to ask enough people to get to fill your bag with $1,000. That's your job. All right. My job, I have a bag with 50K in it already, and my job is to give it away. Who has the easier job? Obviously, I have the easier job of giving away 50K because I can I can get that away to one person. It may take you 2 months to come up with 50K. Even in New York City, I don't know, but it would take you more than a day for sure. I can give mine away in 30 seconds. My job is so good that I can even though it's 50K there, I can have assume the flexibility where the terms are there that I can say, hey, here's a bag with 45,000 in it. Here's a bag, with 50,000 in it. If you let me keep 5,000 of this, will you take the 45? Will you basically pay me 5,000 and you take 45? They're going to say yes, right? Those are buyers. Now I know that's corny, but I try to simplify for you. It's not hard to give away money. Whenever you're negotiating an attractive deal with a seller and you advertise it, it's not difficult to get individuals to take that property off your hand and pay you a handsome fee to take your position via an assignment fee or double close. I prefer assignment fees personally, but both work. So how can you accomplish this? All right. Now, guys, you got to use technology to your advantage. And YouTube is such a powerful tool. You're probably watching me on YouTube right now, maybe even Facebook, but definitely YouTube for the sake of what I'm talking about. I take that back. Even Facebook now, it's just different parameters. All right. But with YouTube, all right, who doesn't have a smartphone, right? Even the cheapest of phones are still considered a smartphone unless you got a flip, of course. But if you don't actually have a smartphone, you need to get one if you're going to be in this business. They're too inexpensive not to have one. Okay, I just had to get on my soapbox on that. But anytime I go out, and I've been doing this for, a few years now, but anytime I go out to a property, I'm going to video the property. First thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to tell you why all this is important. The first thing that I'm going to do is if I meet the seller out there, sometimes if it's such a good deal and I'm already out, somebody calls me or whatever, I'll just go by and I may just snap a picture first. And that's just only for my thumbnail, for my video, and then just do a video of the house and then the neighborhood itself. And the reason that I do that is, and I hadn't went and looked at the property. Number one, it keeps a record of it for me, but also I can just shoot it to a buyer right quick and say, hey, I got this house and such that. I'm not giving them an address or whatever you think you'll be interested. Yeah, just from the outside it looks good. What price you think? And we go from there. So I may already have a buyer lined up before I even go out and just inspect it. But so assuming that I go out and meet the seller, if I just can't access it automatically, I go out and meet the seller. We talk or whatever. I walk through it initially. Then I go back and say, hey, I'm going to video the property, blah, blah, blah. So they'll be like, okay, so they say, they don't want me in the video. And of course, they don't need to be in the video. And I want them to be quiet. I'm not going to narrate through the house. That's okay if you do that, but I don't do that. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I just don't narrate through the house. I just video the house and let the potential buyer, make their own judgment. I don't have to narrate the house where they can know when they're in the kitchen or bedroom or blah, blah, blah. So, but again, the first thing I'm going to do, assuming I hadn't been out there already, I'm going to snap a picture of the front of the house, and then I'm going to video. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to video 360. I'm going to start at the front of the house, and then 360 the neighborhood, just standing in a circle and just going around 360. Come back to the house. Then I'll walk all the way around the house and then through the house, and boom, got your video. So then with my iPhone, I'll upload it to YouTube. Takes all of 30 seconds. Normally the video is between 3 to 5 minutes. Take all the 30 seconds on my iPhone. I'm not sure about the other phones, but it only takes about 30 seconds to upload it. Okay, boom. I have the link now. So what am I going to do with that link? Now, number one, again, I'm going to advertise it on my site that I use for buyers. But whenever I start to market the property, or if I got buyers that I already know that like that area and I did put it on the contract, boom, I'm sending that link to them just to me. Hey, man, I got a house in such and such area. Are you interested? And they'll be like, yeah, boom, here's the address. Here's a link to the property. They look at, hey, when can I see it? You know, normally if they've gotten to that point and I've already shown them the video and they want to see it and they know the price that I'm asking, it's probably a done deal in most cases. In most cases, it's probably a done deal. That's using technology at its finest, guys. You got to start doing that. Screw pictures. Screw pictures. Why? When video is better. That's why we don't watch TV. Imagine if you had an option to watch TV with all the motion, the video, whatever happens with it, a movie or something, versus pictures. It's no comparison. So video is better than pictures. Don't take pictures. Take a video of the property. So it's that simple. So anyway, all right. So the next thing is Zillow. All right. So with Zillow, and I'm not gonna get all in there, but you have to figure that part out. Zillow's a little tricky there. You want to advertise there. It has become, in my opinion, just as effective, if not more so, than Craigslist, because people are just there searching. In my opinion, now you have more than Zillow. You have Trulia and ePraiser, Homes.com, Realtor.com, all those sites. But Zillow.com is, man, you can get a lot of buyers from there. It's just tricky though now because Zillow can give you too much exposure. You have to be aware of the type of seller that you're dealing with also. And if they're still living there, don't put it on Zillow because people just start showing up at that person's house. Don't put it on Zillow if they still live there or whatever, because that's how powerful it is. Now, Zillow does bring out an element of non-cash buyers. That's the downside of it. But it also can bring out an element of buyers that still want to live there, but they have cash and they tend to pay more than investors. You don't want to live off theirs, but you'll take those as they come. People that want to live there, even if they have cash, they'll normally want to pay a little more than an investor will, from my experience. All right, obviously Craigslist. Again, Craigslist, you have to be consistent with that. You pretty much, as a property, if it's a good deal, a couple of days of posting, it's gone or whatever. But sometimes it just takes a little while. So with Craigslist, you want to post early in the morning, around lunchtime, and then in the evening. So you have to understand the parameters of Craigslist and their restrictions. There are tons of videos out there on YouTube and their guidelines, and it's always changing. So understand that. Now with social media, I'm really talking about Facebook and even Instagram. That's a work in progress. Really not wanting to get into too much of that because in reality, a lot of people ain't doing it that way. So I'm sort of holding on to that. Still tweaking a little things because I haven't mastered it, but it has produced results. Now, I wanted to get to bandit signs. Now, putting out bandit signs in the area where the property is located is it's very effective, especially in the lower end areas. It doesn't work as well in the higher end areas. Maybe in the middle class it'll work also. And you can see people, and I guess I pay attention to stuff because I do it. and they'll have a yellow board with bright right, and they're using the thinnest marker tip that they could probably use, and they got We Buy Houses on, or cheap houses there. Man, you can't see that. You may have a few people, but you have to. This is just the details that you just have to pay attention to when you're trying to market. And then red and white is going to look better on anything versus the yellow. I know you want to try to be different. The human eyes, from my understanding, this comes from a sign lady, they're more attracted. They're attracted to the color red first and the color blue second. So the only thing that those are going to look good on is a white background. Keep it simple, guys. But these signs will get your phone ringing off the hook, period. You don't want to put them maybe on the property, but just in that general area. It only takes about 15 or 20 of them. You put them in on the weekend or whatever. I don't ever take signs down. And your phone is going to ring off the hook. So that's another very effective way to get your phone ringing.